Okay, let's bring in our first guest, Nick Jones from Care Fresno. You got that one, right? Nick,
Hey,
how's it going?
Good.
How are you?
Good. I'm doing great.
Now, Care Fresno is what?
It's a local nonprofit. We were started by the police department about nearly 20 years ago, coming up this year. And we work in high crime communities in partnership with churches and businesses. And we place people to live in those communities, high crime apartment complexes. And so our staff all live in the neighborhoods.
Time out. You place people to live in high crime apartment complexes.
Yeah, that's correct.
Why?
Well, we just believe programs themselves don't change people. It's building relationships. It's being walking alongside youth and families and being with them. And so our staff believes we have to be with the people and get to know them and be out there after hours. So we run programs in the apartments, after school, sports, tutoring, but after those program hours, who's there still? And that's our staff. So
are you saying that your staff lives in these high crime apartment complexes?
Yeah, almost everybody on my staff. I do.
Whereabouts?
I live in Southeast Fresno. So anywhere. We have sites all over Southeast from Kings Canyon and Chestnut winery area. We have multiple sites there to Peach and Olive. We also have some in West Fresno, Annandale, Martin Luther King, out to West 99 and Shaw. So we're all over.
Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Southeast Fresno, actually.
You did grow up in Southeast Fresno.
Yeah.
But as an adult, do your friends live in Southeast Fresno that you
No.
grew up with?
No, they don't.
Where'd they go?
I made new friends, so I have good neighbors, so that's been great. But they're all in North Fresno for the most part.
Yeah, okay. Now, tell me some of the experiences that you have being a resident of these areas.
Man, I actually started by moving into one of our highest crime neighborhoods in Southeast, and I didn't know anything about it, but they taught me a lot. And one thing I learned is in the midst of the stigma of being high crime, there's a lot of amazing people there. I'd say 95% of them are good, hard-working families. And
they're there for economic reasons.
Yeah,
they're
absolutely.
not there because they want to hang out with the thugs.
Well, but there is more community there sometimes. I always have this experience where I was carrying a mattress up the steps and it was falling on top of me, and all these families came out and started helping me up the stairs. Well, one year I lived in the suburbs and I had an armoire falling on me, and both my neighbors were outside, just waved to me and walked inside. And that's something I experienced living in two different neighborhoods. Is down there, yeah, there's some issues, but there's also a lot of camaraderie, community that we see, and
some real family, huh?
It's pretty awesome, yeah, it's pretty neat.
Now, this was started by the police?
Yeah, so they reached out in 1995. Fresno was at its highest crime era.
Wait a minute, you said 20 years ago. 1995 wasn't 20 years ago.
Well, it's getting there. It's getting there.
Yeah, it is gone
fast. This year. It's the highest crime area of Fresno. We were one of the worst in the nation. They reached out to religious leaders and churches and said, hey, if we run the criminals out, will you bring the churches and people in to come do work and serve and to make the community better? And so they did, and we started partnerships, and now we still do that, where we get churches to adopt these complexes, and we teach them and train them to work cross-culturally in these neighborhoods so that they can run tutoring, mentoring. We have GED classes, we have recovery programs, but they're all run for practically nothing because they're run by people who are serving out of our partnerships. So.
You say you move the good people in and the bad people move out, but that's not entirely true. Sometimes the bad people turn around.
That's true.
They want to be a part of it.
Yeah.
Right.
No, what we see is if the police can get the major criminals out, the rest of the people, those who may be struggling or youth who might have some behavioral issues, really they just need some positive attention and extra mentors and role models in their life. And we see some amazing kids and teens who are coming out and doing some great things with themselves, but it's just about getting them. We have a philosophy that programs don't change people, relationships do, and if you can't develop a long-term relationship with somebody by being with them, then you're probably not going to have much influence over them for much of their life. So
what's Care Fresno do during the holidays?
Okay, so we get to do a special event this year. We are actually, you mentioned the ice rink downtown. We chose 50 of our top kids, those who really worked hard this semester in our after-school programs, to take on a trip sponsored by the law offices of David Milligan. And so he has actually helped us put this on, where we're taking 50 kids and 20 staff to the ice rink. They all get sweaters for Christmas because a lot of them don't have warm clothes. And so they're sponsored sweaters with Care Fresno on them. And then we're taking them out to the lights in Clovis to go walk around the neighborhood and just see the Cindy Lane lights and doing hot cocoa and cookies and all that stuff. So
that's got to be a magical day and night for 50 kids that probably wouldn't get that kind of treatment.
It's awesome.
Right?
You take for granted the things you get to do, And so last year we took them to the ice rink, and most of our kids had never been ice skating, and we've done trips to the snow, and most of our kids have never seen the snow, even living here in the Central Valley, So
that's very generous of Mr. Milligan.
Yeah, well,
that's not an inexpensive gift
it's not.
by any means.
It's not.
And there's not a lot of people probably watching right now that could afford to do something like that. But there's probably a lot of them that could afford to do something.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
If they wanted to help out Care Fresno.
Yeah, well, if they wanted to, we try to be almost 100% funded by churches and individuals. We like to, we try not to do anything with federal money per se, and so we really rely on people to become donors and partners with us on a monthly basis, one-time basis, and in addition, our whole program runs on people serving. So where our budget may be $200,000 for the whole year, we actually have produced over $500,000 in service by just volunteers, churches, and people coming out and working with our kids. And so we produce far more in kind than we do in monetary value, So
talking to a lot of the nonprofits around town, this time of the year they get a lot of help. But it's the other parts of the year that they're looking for the help.
That's
people open up their hearts during the holidays, but sometimes they forget that this is a year-round thing for you guys.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And the year-end donations really help, and they're substantial. They can be, but definitely, for us, like I said, can we count on people to, even if it was $25 a month, knowing that it's monthly, you can account and then make plans for your future that way. So having those monthly, quarterly donors that you can count on really makes a difference for us because it helps us plan how we can grow and what we can do each year. And so,
What's going on in 2015 for Care Fresno?
Well, we've actually, with our partners Northwest Church, we've actually been, they've funded us heavily to expand. So this year we opened up 5 new sites throughout Fresno, and next year we plan to do at least 3 or 4 new ones. And we plan to have 10 to 12 in the next year after that altogether. So we've been.
When you say sites, you mean apartment complexes?
Yeah, so an area of town that's high crime with a church partner with somebody living there. That's one site. So we pick a high crime apartment complex, one church partner, and people to live there, and that would be considered a site. So we're looking to open 3 or 4 more of those. So.
All right. Yeah. How do people get a hold of Care Fresno, Nick?
Oh, there's multiple ways online. There's a ton of information on us at carefresno.org. Our email's info@carefresno.org. And then we have a phone number, which is 492-8722. And, there's many ways to get a hold of us, and there's so many ways people can plug in. We're all over the city. And, we need people to serve. We need donors. We need all of it. We need businesses to come join us, just like David Milligan's office. And so Yeah.
Nick Jones, happy holidays to you, buddy.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for what you do for Fresno. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back on The Buzz. Stick around.